A dog can nap in the sun wearing the same fur coat it uses all year. A bird can sleep on a branch without falling off. A mountain goat can sprint across a cliff that looks like it was drawn by someone who had run out of paper. Meanwhile, a human steps onto warm pavement, burns both feet, twists an ankle, gets sunburned through a window, and needs several pillows arranged with the precision of a small engineering project. Human childbirth is unusually complex. Our backs complain about standing. Our knees complain about walking. Our skin can be damaged by the star that keeps our planet alive. So, what if we are the aliens? The short answer is that humans almost certainly did not arrive here from another planet, but the longer answer is much stranger. Parts of the idea are scientifically possible. They just do not mean what alien documentaries would like them to mean. The argument usually starts with a comparison. Other animals seem beautifully fitted to their surroundings. Fish come with swimming equipment. Polar bears arrive in weatherproof packaging. Even a snail carries a small house, though it has made no obvious provision for stairs. Humans look less convincing. We have thin skin, exposed organs, slow children, fragile joints, and almost no natural protection from weather. Leave a typical person alone in the wilderness, and within a few hours, they will be wearing a plastic bag and negotiating with a squirrel. But this comparison contains a trick. We notice the features animals are good at because those features help define them. We see the cheetah running, not recovering from a pulled muscle. We see the eagle flying, not discovering that one damaged feather has made the afternoon complicated. Nature is not full of perfect creatures. It is full of creatures that survived long enough to reproduce. Evolution does not design an organism from scratch. It renovates whatever is already there. Imagine an ancient ape-shaped house. One generation moves a wall. Another adds a staircase. Someone converts the attic into a large brain. Nobody checks whether the plumbing still reaches the bathroom. That is the human body. Walking on two legs was an enormous renovation. It freed our hands, raised our viewpoint, and created an efficient way to travel. But it also placed new demands on a spine, pelvis, knees, and feet inherited from ancestors with a different way of moving. The human skeleton contains extensive adaptations for upright walking, but adaptation does not mean perfection. It means the renovation remains standing. Human birth is another awkward construction project. A large-brained baby must pass through a pelvis that also supports upright posture, internal organs, and the weight of pregnancy. Scientists still debate the exact importance of each constraint, but the result is a tight fit, shaped by several competing pressures. It is not evidence that babies were designed for a planet with a wider doorway. It is what happens when evolution modifies one structure to perform several important jobs at once. If you enjoy bad drawings attached to reasonably good explanations, subscribe before this little ape house develops another leak. Sunburn also looks suspicious until we include human migration. Skin pigmentation evolved partly in response to different levels of ultraviolet radiation. More melanin offers greater protection in strong UV environments. At higher latitudes, lower pigmentation can help the body produce vitamin D when UVB is limited. There is no single skin setting that works equally well everywhere, especially after humans began moving rapidly between climates. Evolution adjusted populations to local conditions. Then culture invented boats, airplanes, indoor offices, package vacations, and a large chair with wheels. Our environments began changing much faster than our genes could follow. This is called evolutionary mismatch. A trait can make sense in the environment where it evolved and become inconvenient somewhere new. Our bodies expect regular movement, varied food, sunlight, darkness, and occasional urgent problems. Modern life provides chairs, processed calories, glowing rectangles, and emails marked urgent because someone wants a spreadsheet before lunch. The body is not failing to belong on Earth. It is often failing to belong in the tiny artificial habitat we built inside Earth. There is also a much larger problem for the alien human idea. Humans are not biologically separate from the rest of life here. Our anatomy, fossils, and DNA place us firmly inside the primate family. We share a common ancestor with chimpanzees and bonobos, and the split between those lineages occurred millions of years before modern humans appeared. We are not mysterious creatures floating above Earth's family tree. We are sitting on one of its branches, eating snacks. The connection goes deeper than primates. Human cells use the same basic genetic code and many of the same chemical systems found across earthly life. We share genes with mammals, plants, fungi, and bacteria because all known life on Earth is connected through deep ancestry. If extraterrestrials secretly placed modern humans here, they did an extraordinary amount of paperwork. They gave us ape chromosomes, ape muscles, ape teeth, ape embryos, and a fossil history linking earlier hominins across millions of years. They did not drop an alien into the garden. They renovated the local ape until it could worry about mortgage rates. That makes the most dramatic version of the theory very unlikely. But there is a more serious version called panspermia. Panspermia is the idea that life, or very simple biological material, can travel between worlds. A large impact can blast rocks off a planet. Some of those rocks can eventually land on another planet. We know this transfer occurs because meteorites from Mars have been found on Earth. The unanswered part is whether living material could survive the entire trip. It would need to endure the impact, radiation, vacuum, extreme temperatures, a journey that might last a very long time, and another violent landing. Space is not a gentle delivery service. The parcel is thrown out of one planet and punched into another. Still, scientists do not dismiss the mechanism completely. Rocks can shield material, some organisms tolerate astonishing conditions, and meteorites contain organic compounds, including amino acids. But organic compounds are ingredients, not proof of life. Finding flour in a cupboard does not prove a cake has been living there. If ancient microbes arrived from Mars, another solar system, or a delivery vehicle operated by extremely patient aliens, then life on Earth could have an extraterrestrial starting point. But humans would not be aliens in any special sense. Every oak tree, mushroom, whale, mosquito, and person would be descended from the same ancient visitors. The first alien would not have looked like a tall person with enormous eyes. It might have looked like a damp speck with no opinions. Panspermia also does not explain how life began. It only changes the address. If life arrived from Mars, we can still ask how it began on Mars. If it arrived from another star, the question simply takes a much longer commute. This distinction matters when searching for extraterrestrial life. Suppose we found microbes on Mars using chemistry almost identical to ours. That might mean life began twice in similar ways. Or it might mean rocks carried one family of life between the two planets. To demonstrate that life began independently elsewhere, scientists would want evidence of a genuinely separate origin, not merely a distant cousin who took a meteorite. So why does the idea that humans are aliens feel so compelling? Partly because we are unusual. Humans reshape environments instead of waiting for bodies to adapt. We make coats instead of growing fur. We make diving equipment instead of gills. We make spacecraft instead of patiently evolving into something aerodynamic. Our main adaptation is not a perfect body. It is behavioral flexibility powered by culture, tools, language, and cooperation. A naked human is poorly equipped for the Arctic. A group of humans with shared knowledge can build a heated research station there, fill it with complicated instruments, and then argue about whose turn it is to wash a mug. We also feel separate because we can examine ourselves. A wolf does not appear troubled by its position in the universe. Humans stare into space and ask where they came from. That feeling is real, but it is not a buried memory of another planet. It is what happens when an Earth animal evolves a brain capable of imagining places it has never visited. If evidence eventually showed that Earth life began elsewhere, it would transform our understanding of life in the universe. But it would not erase our history here. Humans evolved on this planet, inside its ecosystems, from organisms connected to everything else alive. Our bad backs, vulnerable skin, and difficult births are not signs that Earth rejected us. They are renovation marks. They show how an old animal was repeatedly modified without ever being taken apart and rebuilt properly. We keep looking into the sky for our home because the human mind can imagine having another one. But follow the wiring, the fossils, and the crooked plumbing, and they all lead back down. We are not visitors trapped in the wrong house. We are the local animal that learned how to look out the window.